guys, welcome to another special BOA series of Roll or Die podcast. Today we've got a treat. We've got Adele Fornarino and Nat Frankcombe, brown belt out of originally Dominance, Adele is, and now living in Perth. Is that right?
Yeah, at the moment. Yep, that's correct.
And Nat Frankcombe, newly crowned black belt at 10th Planet in Hobart. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
So yeah, Nat, first of all, congrats on your black belt. I think it's just recent. You've just recently, about 2 months or so ago. Is that right?
Yeah. So it was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Whenever Melbourne had that brief period where they weren't in lockdown, we managed to get Sensei Franco to do a seminar with our guys, and he gave my husband his brown belt, which is very, very well deserved, and surprised me with my black belt, which is like I wasn't.
Awesome.
So
well due. No, fantastic. And Adele, you're living over in Perth now, so you've actually been a Roll or Die guest very early days with us, back before we were the professionals that we are now. And
it was about 10, I think, at the time. She was about 10. Yeah. I think she's about 15.
I was 10 in, something like that.
I
was stoked on it.
So you've made the journey across to Perth since we last spoke with you. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome in Perth. Well, I managed to just sneak in when the borders shut in January.
Nice.
So I like on New Year's Day, it was absolute chaos, but managed to kind of sneak through. Did my 2 weeks quarantine. We actually bought some mats while we were in quarantine, so we're doing training just to keep ourselves sane. But yeah, I've just been rolling and coaching and training here ever since, and been loving it. Wish the borders could stay open so I could freely go back and forth, but it is what it is at this point.
Yep.
But yeah, loving it. Jiu-jitsu here is awesome. There's some really cool people here. The jiu-jitsu community here in general has been really lovely, been really welcoming, which is always nice, but I didn't really expect anything else, to be honest.
Yeah. What have you noticed any differences in the jiu-jitsu community over there versus over here?
Yeah, bits and pieces. Like there's obviously in WA less competitions, but to be honest, everywhere there's less competitions right now.
Yeah, true.
Well, besides that, it's all jiu-jitsu, so there's different people doing different things. I'll go into one gym and they'll focus on leg entanglements. I'll go into another gym, they'll focus on top game, and it's all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different variations with jiu-jitsu here, and it's all really good. I've met some really cool people. I met Will Diaz, Jake, Adam Metcalf, Emma Metcalf. So just some really good athletes down here as well, which is good.
Awesome.
I shouldn't say down here. I should really say over here.
Over here. Across
here. Over here.
Nat is down there. Nat's down there. And tell us
Nat's down there, exactly.
So you're in Hobart, Nat. I think we had another Tassie guest on once before, Kieran, right? But yeah, tell us your take on the Tassie scene and the, I guess, Hobart scene.
Hobart scene, we're all a really, really tight-knit community, which is really awesome. We're all about the same sort of age. We all came pretty much up together. Yeah, it's not as developed as it is in Melbourne, for example. So we don't have, super awesome facilities, say Absolute, for example, or Dominance. Our gyms are quite small. I think, jigsaw shed. Yeah. We are getting there. We are sort of like evolving and growing as our gyms sort of develop, and it is a growing sport down here, which is awesome. And yeah, it's just growing like a lot more than I thought it would when I first started all those years ago. It's very small, but even just seeing the growth of the females in the sport down here, it's just awesome to sort of sit back and have a look at that. And we're getting there, and then the scene getting a bit bigger. There's a few comps going around as well, but yeah, still have to travel a bit for comps. So you'll find me coming up to like Melbourne or Sydney to compete rather than down here just to get that extra stimulus and stuff like that. But yeah, it's awesome that we're also close-knit and so connected. So we do a lot of cross-training like with all of our gyms down here. Yeah, it's a good community down here. Everyone's super friendly.
That's great. And are you, like, you've got a 10th Planet shirt on? I'm guessing you that's your style of big okay?
It is.
So, like, are you purebred 10th Planet, or have you got, as you said, you cross-train, but have you always trained 10th Planet, or have you been else?
Yeah, so I started my martial arts journey in a Korean martial art called Gongkwon Yusul, which doesn't exist in Australia anymore, to my knowledge. And it had a little bit of everything. It was actually a gi, or we called it a dobok in that art. And myself and my husband really gravitated towards more of the ground game than the striking stuff. And my husband's pretty flexible. He's got really bendy legs and hips and stuff like that. And I think he found a 10th Planet book in a bookstore down here like 12 years ago and started reading up on that, and then did a bit of a search and found Frank in Melbourne. And since then, for the last 12 years, we've been flying up and back nonstop to Melbourne as much as we can to train under Frank. And it's kind of like, you meet the coach that's right for you.
Yeah.
And at that point, as soon as I met Frank, I jumped ship. I was like, ride or die 10th Planet, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been training under him for just over 11 years now.
We had him on the podcast.
Certainly very charismatic.
A live wire, that guy.
We've had him on the podcast before. Yeah, during the lockdown, he certainly helped lift everyone's spirits. That was for sure.
Yeah, he's good value.
Have you guys faced off against each other before?
We have.
Yeah, we have actually. A few years back now.
I think it was 2018.
Probably. That sounds about right. That sounds right.
How did that go?
Yeah, good. It was in the ADCC, not the trials or anything, just the Melbourne competition from memory.
Yeah, I think it was out at John Donohue's gym.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I got caught with an amazing footlock from memory.
And then I got caught with an armbar.
So 1 for 1 at the moment.
Oh my God, that's so exciting! I'm so pumped with this match. Holy shit!
Yeah, makes it that much more exciting.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
okay.
Adele, you train across the gi and no gi. How are you
Yes.
changing up your training? Are you training a lot more no gi, or are you sort of sticking with the tried and true, or what's your prep like? Not to give too much away, obviously, in this environment with Nat right next to you.
Got my notes.
Yeah, I'll write them all down. No, it's more or less just kind of continue doing what I'm doing. I'll do a couple more rounds in a week of no gi more than gi, and I'll just kind of take off the jacket and do a couple more no gi rounds. Just to, not get in the habit of looking for a collar where there's not a collar when I'm rolling. But yeah, more or less just still rolling, still doing gi, like definitely still doing rounds in gi. Love gi. But yeah, probably a couple extra rounds doing some no gi stuff.
Amazing. Okay.
Excellent.
And yeah, that's good. So
see what I mean, Adele, about how professional we are now. We take it in turns. That's how we are.
Hey, Boa, what I'd like each of you to kind of just talk a little bit about what Boa means to you on the Australian comp, or I don't think you'd really call it a comp. It is a comp, but it's more like it's a tournament. Yeah, it's a tournament mixed with a bunch of super fights. It's a show. It's entertainment as much as it is for the fighters. It's for the spectators as well. What are your thoughts about it? Like, I don't mind who goes first, but let's start with you, Adele. What does Boa mean?
For me, like Boa was around before I even knew much about super fights in general. Like Boa was in my head kind of like the OG super fight scene exhibition matches, where it was just kind of a different take on competing in general. My exposure with competition was, states, nationals, Pan Pacs, worlds, all that kind of stuff. And then Boa kind of stepped onto the scene and made it this whole show where people that didn't actually do jiu-jitsu or know much about jiu-jitsu could still enjoy it, which was really cool. And I had a couple of teammates back in the day that did some of the first sets of Boa, Demi Butler. We had like Troy from Limitless who did a super fight. Lockie obviously jumped in. A whole bunch of like Melbourne's OG, well, not even Melbourne, Australia's OG black belts, kind of getting a chance to show off their skills, which was really cool. But Boa has always been run really, really well. Like it's always been super professional, really flashy, like making it really interesting for the audience and like put together really well for the athletes as well. So awesome. They always do a good job. And last time I was on Boa, they did an excellent job. They looked after us and made everything look very professional, which is always nice.
Cool. That's great.
And Nat, how about you?
Yeah, mine's pretty much the same. Like it was the first, tournament that I saw that was within Australia that, put grappling on the spotlight. Like it was kind of like your UFC version of grappling. And, it was always one of those things where, if you get on BOA, like that's, you know, an awesome thing to do, that, you know, to get your name out there in the community. And you know, you always saw it as a bit of a goal being an Australian athlete. I didn't realize that you could sort of grapple on, you know, events like this internationally. So it was my first, well, back in the day, it was my first sort of like experience to, you know, of, you know, that option for grappling super fights and things like that. And I think I really started paying attention to it. I think it was when Priscus versus Pasha.
Oh, yeah.
Match where it went right down to the wire, and I think Chris ended up getting a knee bar on Pasha, but Pasha won by points in the end, but his knee was destroyed. I think that's my interest in it. I'm like, this is really exciting, an exciting format. And then I was on the Challenger series for BOA as a super fight against Sarah, and just having that good communication between the promoter and the athlete, I thought, you know, this is, you know, the pinnacle of what you want to do. Like it was just, all good vibes all around. You're treated really well. The production was great. The communication was great. And it's just always something that I wanted to do again. So super excited.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you guys have both had like dealings, or you've both been involved in previous bowlers. So yeah, it's awesome that, I suppose, as well, to show the evolution of jiu-jitsu in Australia, that you guys are now there against each other, and really, really good as well for female jiu-jitsu, I think. Can you guys sort of talk to us just briefly about that, like your take on being a female in the sport, stuff like that? I think, Adele, we talked about it a little bit, but I think it's really important for women to see sort of high level women competing at this stage. And it's really great that BOA are including women, because unfortunately sometimes there's not a lot of women on these sort of shows. So yeah, give us just quickly your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think it's also hard for, you know, myself and Adele, like, I don't know if you've had the same experiences as me, but trying to find a pool of athletes that you haven't had, you know, a match with at that level, the pool starts getting smaller and smaller. It's like, yes, it's awesome to have you know, females on these cards, but we're still growing as well. So I think it's really important that if we get the opportunity to do it, then, you know, we basically make the effort to, you know, try and put ourselves out there so we can, you know, build up the female community that is sort of coming, you know, for lack of a better term, behind us per se. But yeah, I think, you know, it's really important that we do at least try to get, you know, 2 to 4, you know, super fights on these kind of cards, because there's not many of us. So, you know, the girls that are coming up need to see that, you know, there is opportunities out there for them to pursue that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
Adele, do you have anything to add?
I definitely agree with what Nat's saying. You know, it's important that if we're given the opportunity to actually step out there and show some of the upcoming competitors, but even some of the people that used to compete that don't compete anymore, that they can jump back on the mat, that they can keep competing and be part of these events, and actually show even like the younger generation and the kids that stepping out on the mats, you know, it's can be a really exciting thing, can be a really rewarding thing. It encourages them to kind of participate in that way, which is really cool. I know, because I teach kids, and I know that a lot of them have kind of said how excited they are to watch, and, you know, that they want to get on the mats, they want to compete, that they're going to jump into the next competition. So even that kind of knock-on effect is awesome to see. But it is in general just really nice to see a push for female athletes in super fights in general nowadays. You can kind of see it even across Flow Grappling with the Who's Number One series, that they're trying to push more female athletes, and they're getting really good results. So they're like, we're seeing these amazing athletes come through, even like 10th Planet Gundram, who's been doing awesome, Grace Gundram, who's been absolutely smashing it and is just as interesting to watch as some of the male divisions, you know. So it's not like we're bringing any less to the mats or bringing any less technique or less interest. So the push for it, I think, is really, really cool and quite nice to see. Right. Especially if, like, you know, me and Nat and Kim from the female perspective have been around looking at jiu-jitsu for a while, and just kind of sitting back and watching it kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's always a really nice thing to see, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
I reckon like female matches often more technical than the guys. Like, you know,
There's
it definitely
definitely-
doesn't lack for
There's
technique.
all sorts of positions that are really hard for me to watch. Well, they are-
Super good like hip mobility and leg mobility, just like really, really weird positions always.
Yeah.
And I guess we've kind of still got that little thing, like, you know, we kind of had that, we've got to prove something, like we can bring it to the guys. So we had that little extra fire there. We're like, show them what the girls can do kind of thing.
Exactly.
You girls are both super confident. It's obvious, you know, you're very calm, relaxed, easy people to, and you know, you're in an environment now where you have no idea what's coming in this show, and you're still just calm, which I love.
I'm just hoping that you're not going to throw any controversial
Yeah, so here it comes.
questions at us.
No.
Politics.
No. But what I'm wondering is, like, when you get on stage and like you really are there as entertainment on that night, as much as you'll be doing this super fight for yourselves, obviously, to even the 1-all thing, but you're also out there as entertainment. Do you have to adjust your game day what are your game day rituals, and do you have to adjust them in order to kind of shift your mindset versus doing a pan packs or a VIX or something like that?
I know for me personally, I don't shift too much. Like there's the extra thing of like the lights, the music, you know, all that kind of stuff, which is just, you know, add-ons more so for the audience. And, you know, it's exciting as a competitor to be a part of that, obviously. But I personally like to keep things pretty consistent, like treat it like a big competition, obviously, but still wake up in the morning, eat the breakfast, you know, listen to the music, do the warm-up, get on stage. It is like there's that extra nerve of the fact that people are watching, so you don't want to do something dumb. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to embarrass yourself. It's that added bit of nerves, you know. You don't, maybe don't do the flying submission and accidentally land on your head where there's like, you know, X amount of people watching you. But there's definitely a drive to make it exciting and not, you know, when you do points competitions, it's worlds, for instance, you know, you can get away with winning with an advantage. But in these kind of competitions, you want to make it interesting. You don't want to just hide on side control for 6 minutes and everybody's like, yep, that was boring. You're kind of like, you've got to make it exciting, and that's always a drive as an athlete to bring your best game and to make it really interesting for the people watching, for sure.
Cool. Right.
Yeah, awesome.
Nat,
anything?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. You sort of go through the same sort of personal ritual that you follow. Like I have a few things that I'll do consistently, like the week leading up to either a super fight or a tournament, and, you know, day of even. But, you know, match wise, I think the only thing that I'll do differently from like a tournament to a super fight is I'll try not to conserve any energy through my matches. And you've got to make it exciting as well, because it is an exhibition. You know, you just do the same things leading up, but like the only thing that would change is how you approach the match per se. And yeah, it's a spectator sport, this format, as opposed to tournament. So yeah, you want to go out there and try and be a little bit flashy to an extent. Obviously, like I said, you don't want to be landing on your head and knocking yourself out. But yeah, you've got to make it exciting and sort of a promotion of self as well. So you want to, you know, make each other look good for, you know, future opportunities for both of us.
That's a good point. And just to expand a bit, are you comfortable to talk about a couple of these rituals you have leading up, or are they top secret that y'all can't know or no one else can know? That's too embarrassing.
One of the things I have to do is I have to get a pedicure.
That makes total sense. The feet are going to be
I think that's beneficial for me, because then I'm not dealing with stinky feet.
Exactly.
That helps me.
Yeah.
I much appreciate that. That's a great.
Yeah. I had a match many years ago where someone must have like had garlic before the match or something like that. It was the worst competition in my life. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, pedicure is one of my things.
Awesome. So Anton got you guys on together, wanting you to smack talk and do all of that, but instead, look at this. They're just laughing together.
I don't think it's going to go well.
Stuck between my toes.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we are making these shows a little bit shorter, so we might tie this up unless you guys have got anything to add, or Anton, you had any other questions that you haven't asked yet?
No, but if you guys have got any messages for your fans, send them out now.
Oh dear. No, just thanks to you guys for having us on. Really happy for the opportunity on Boa again. I'm really excited. I love traveling, so even if it's just coming up to Melbourne, I'd love to go out there and see the 10th Planet fam. Oh, I shouldn't say inverted brackets, but they are my family. Just excited for that. Thanks to all my training partners at home for letting me go a little bit harder than I usually would with them. And just super excited.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks heaps for having us. Like it's always good to.
Oh, we just lost you. Hang on.
Are you a bit on mute?
Good to get.
Oh, there we go.
All good.
Yeah, you're back. Just go in with that whole bit.
Okay, cool.
Oh no.
No, every time you speak, suddenly. That's it. It's a secret message. She doesn't want anyone to know. It's just.
Fix it.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right.
Cool. Out or just stitch them. No, I was just saying. Thanks for having us.
Oh no, we keep losing you every time.
It's because I said we're professional, isn't it? I shouldn't have said that.
We can subtitle it and we can say whatever we want. You're saying.
We have an editor now.
You guys go dead. I can't hear you, and then you guys can't hear me. Hopefully.
All right, I think it's good. Try again. One more time. Let's go.
All right, we got one more. All right. No, honestly, I was just saying thank you. Thanks for having us, and obviously thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk to one another. I know you guys were hoping for a bit more smack talk, but I don't think we have much smack talk in us.
It's all love. Like there's not many of us. We've got to share the love.
Right.
Love and respect, and I don't think there's really anybody who I've come up against that I've ever kind of not liked or had any but admiration and respect for. But thanks from all my training partners here and all the people that have kind of helped me continue to develop my game. And all my training partners back at home, obviously I miss them like crazy. And thanks for Hype Life being an awesome support through this as well. Obviously sending me nice skis and nice rashies and all that kind of stuff. So that's always a bonus of being an athlete that gets to do this kind of stuff. You get free stuff and it's always nice.
It's better. This is better than smack talk. I gotta say, like the love between you two is way better than smack talk. Okay, like if I can't get the warm fuzzy, I'll go for the cold prickly. But the warm fuzzy is way better. Way better.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, and really looking forward to you putting on a show on Boa in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll be sharing this. If you can do the same on your social, that would be great to help grow our audience. But yeah, a couple of weeks' time. Looking forward to seeing you on Boa. Thank you. Take care.
Lovely. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye. Bye.